we closed 9,000 homes in the month. Yeah. In the month of April, right? And there's only like 15,000 homes on the market. Is anybody studying any of this that can chime in? Yeah. Nice and loud.
Yeah, I was looking at a Cromford report, and the numbers were a little different, but I'm not sure. But it was saying 11,167 or something like that. But the affidavits closed in April. It was talking about it closed a big gap, and then also had a 4.1% growth. As far as supply,
4.1% growth in appreciation.
No, April to April, so April 2018 to April 2019. So it closed that trailing gap and even showed some growth. So I don't know about months of supply, but it was a huge, huge month, without a doubt.
Yeah, wow. So fascinating out there. Turning into a buyer's market. I mean, it has been a buyer's market, right? I'm sorry, seller's market. It has been a seller's market. And then, of course, it's a seller's market in different price ranges, so you want to keep a tab on that, right? There's some zip codes where, bang, it's just gone, gone, gone. So anyway, statistical data is fascinating out there right now. And what a great segue. Low interest rates, good economy. They work out this deal in China, things are going to get really, really good. Yeah, really, really loud and fun. All right, so any questions on the, as you guys know, we bought the new building, right? We're moving into it. So if anybody knows a industry that's kind of tied to ours, lending, of course, title services,
warranty.
Inspection services, what?
Warranty.
Warranty. We have that whole building that we're moving out of, and we can do it in segments. So right now I'm kind of concentrating on my area right now, because Jill, you guys used to be in my section. Remember that? How many years ago? 8 years ago. 8 years ago. So, because you know those buildings are done in pods, so somebody doesn't have to take the whole building. They can take my portion of the building right before the restrooms for $5,000 a month, and then the rounds team can move into the other building. There's no urgency on our standpoint to start moving into the building because we have no need. So right now, what are we working on? We're working on TIs, right? Yeah. Today we have a meeting at 3 o'clock. They came in really big. 130,000. So we're probably not going to do everything. So we'll probably do what is the biggest needs right now, right? It's got 2 beautiful conference rooms, but they're massive. They hold like 15 people, right?
Oh,
tenant improvements.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. TI is tenant improvements, right? What's that?
The war room hold about 20.
Yeah, so they're really, really big rooms, and
How about a sports bar next door?
I like it. All right, so I'd like to welcome a couple of new agents.
I know exactly where we can put that.
All right. So, Eric Johnson, is he in the building? Eric Johnson, not here. All right. Andrea Tucker, stand up, say hello, introduce yourself, and tell me what you've been doing the last couple of years.
The last couple of years, well, for those who don't know me, I'm David Tucker's ex-wife. Really? Yeah.
Don't hold that against me.
I was at a mortgage company for a while, and then I was an apartment locator, and now I'm here. Because Dell called me a panic.
I did. So as you guys know, Emily, our marketing manager, is having a baby, so she's gone for like the next 90-ish days. So Andrea's filling in. And then from that position, she'll come into her and I working together as partners on some different projects. So welcome, Andrea. Welcome back. Yep. Christina, help me with that. There's an X in that name.
I phonetically spelled it out for you.
Oh, you did? Schrickrider. Schrickrider. From Flagstaff. So welcome, Christina. Welcome to Flagstaff. She's in our new Flagstaff office. After this class today, we'll have a continuing education class. As you guys know, we offer those once a quarter. So if you come to all of our sales meetings and go to the CE class, you won't need any renewals at the end of 2 years. So it's kind of good that we offer that. Today's about the new rollout. It's
Transaction desk.
Yep, and it's for the law portion of your CE classes. Yep. All right. All right, Greg, you're up.
All right, so you were going to talk a little bit about
yes, I was.
the.
Okay, scroll down. All right. Who's doing rentals? Okay, guys, listen up, because this is going to cost you money if you don't. This is a vital point. 4% buyer broker, renewal compensation 2. I don't know what 2 means. Is that 2%? Is that 0.2? So if it's 2%, you want to add that on there. And then see that 3 there? If the tenant goes to the seller and buys that house direct, right? And you find out about it a year later, you can go back to that listing agent and say, hey, you owe me 3. 3 what? I don't like this. See how that has a percent after that? What does 3 mean?
3 cents.
3 cents, $3, 3 pesos, 3 high fives, 1, 2, 3, right? You know, and I've seen stuff, right? Sometimes I've seen 0.2. Yeah, yeah. Down south, I'm working with the doctor. $150 to show a $2,000 a month.
Try 50
rental.
bucks.
Yeah, come on. What I would do in situations like that is just send the doctor, the MLS, tell your doctor, look, I'm going to make life easy for you, just go direct. I'm going to make life easy for you, just go direct. Somebody had a question. Antonio.
The original list price, it did quite a few reductions on
sorry.
that.
Original list price, where is that?
2,200.
Yep.
They reduced it aggressively.
Where? Okay, now wait. All right, I don't know.
Oh my God.
We got a 99% off sale. All right, so scroll down. Let's give another example. So here's what we're finding. Let's say you have something for lease and for sale, and in the lease portion, you put in there that the sell rate is 3%. You're obligated to that number. Here's my theory on this. Just put 0. All right? Because if you have it up for sale, you know what the sell compensation is. If you have it up for lease, put zeros in all of this. This is a great example. Good job. Your timing is good. See how these say 0, 0? Just put 0, 0 in them. Okay? Now, if you're the buyer's agent and you see those, tenant's agent and you see those, would you like this? No, right? So you want to make sure you tell your tenant 60 days out, do not call the landlord, call who? Me. Call me, because then you're going to write up the lease and you're going to talk to the listing agent or the landlord directly, because agency ends when the tenant moves in, or the landlord directly and say, hey, my tenant wants to renew, what are you going to pay me? Okay, 6% is, hey, you're double siding it, why not ask for 6%? Put that as an unrepresented seller, unrepresented landlord, send them the compensation agreement, have them sign it, and double end it, right? All right, but you want to be aware of these. It's happening a lot because the tenants are expiring and they have nowhere to go. So they're either buying it or releasing it, and we're out of the picture. And either way, you want to make sure. Okay, now look, for the sell comp on this one, this is fascinating. $1,000.
Flat fee.
$1,000. Yeah, anyway, you guys can do the math. Oh, well, look, they were asking, scroll up, what was the asking price?
4,500.
Yeah, I'll give you $1,000, you sell my $1 million listing.
And I know who the listing agent is on this, and they are new, and we're working through that with them.
Oh, I don't even know what that means. All right, so they're one of our, okay, well, he can do whatever he wants. I'm just saying on the other side, you guys want to be aware of this and look at it and make sure there's not a 0.3 in front of that or a 0.03 or the type of stuff, because that's what you're getting paid. All right.
Wait, don't, hold on, we gotta go one step further on this.
Thanks.
Because this is a problem, this is a big problem.
No problemo.
So, and here's the problem. Who's responsible to pay that to that buyer's broker? We, if we're the listing agent, if we said it, that is, just go back to that box, right? This box here, this box is the only way as a buyer's agent or a tenant's agent, that is the only guarantee we're getting paid. That is the only way, right? On a listing, we have a piece of paper that says listing agreement. That, as a buyer's agent, the only thing that guarantees us payment is this
That's it.
little one box, period. So if you see $3, sometimes it's a typo, but you need to call that listing agent to make sure he didn't put $3 because that's all he's entitled to, obligated to pay you. So here's the problem. So if you go back to the last one, Greg. On the first one, it says 3% of the sales price, so the tenant makes the
First
deal.
one or the last one?
The first one. So the tenant makes the deal. The tenant makes the deal with the landlord, and they do the deal. Buyer's agent comes back to you 6 months later. I'm checking tax records, blah blah blah. You, Joe Zabel, the listing agent, you owe me 3%.
Oh.
So Joe's got to fork up the money, and Joe now leaves the company, or Joe says I'm not paying. When
They're
we
coming
next
for
find
you.
properties, becomes responsible. But guess who's ultimately responsible? It's the seller, because you got a listing agreement with the seller, and it says that he's going to pay you. So now the question is, you have to go after the seller. Well, he's going to tell you to take a hike off a cliff, and you guys know the drill. So now you got to go through a lawsuit to the seller. I mean, it's just a no-win situation, and Dell's right. Just put 0 and make your deal at the time that if they ever make a deal at the end. Because if you put that in the middle, you're committed. You can't get out of it. You're committed.
Well, that one's really interesting because it really does say $2 and $3 or whatever 2 means.
Yeah.
I don't know what 2. There's nothing after that. I don't. Do you know what that
And
means? If you saw that.
Well, and I don't know. I don't know. I have to check.
Can you put a percentage?
I don't know
or
that you
put
can.
it-
Because you can for a
You might not be able
sale.
to put
Because
it.
it asks you the question in the sale and asks you percentages or dollars. I don't know that it asks you that same question.
Well,
So
I would say,
I don't know.
if I was the tenant's agent in this scenario,
You
I
see
would
it says
clarify that
percentage
in
of
writing.
gross?
Yeah, percent of gross though.
Yeah. So I just don't know, but the point is just
Percent
put
of
0. You're
Yeah.
just better off putting 0, and then if the tenant and the landlord make a deal, then you'll try to get involved at that point. So, all right, I only got a few minutes. So number 1, on the personal note, Peggy Young, I just saw you walk in. Where are you? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Congratulations, Ms. Bonnie Berg. Stand up. Stand up. And Melissa Gasper, where are you? Tell everybody in case they don't know what we just won. Melissa?
First Scott's a Homeowner Magazine back-to-back winner. Just kidding. I won Rising Star this year.
Luxury agent of the year.
Nice job, Bonnie.
Both well deserved and well earned. You know how we talk about buyers being liars? When's the last time each one of you either sold your own home or bought your own home? So this thing happened to me this morning, and I felt like such an idiot. So most of you know my son lives in Connecticut. My wife and I were thinking about not retiring, but buying a place in Connecticut to have there. So my son is out with a realtor right now looking at condos, right? So he calls me up this morning. He says, "So what is that you want, Dad? Do you want a high-rise building, or do you want like kind of like a more traditional like you see in Scottsdale?" I said, "I don't know." He says, "Wait, do you want a garage or do you not want a garage?" Well, I don't know. So I got to be thinking. I said, "Well, I'd like a garage, but for the right place, it doesn't have to have a garage. I wouldn't mind a high-rise if it had a terrace, but for the right place, I would do without a terrace. How much money you want to spend? Well, we're going to be between $350, $450, but for the right place, we'd go to $500. Holy shit! I said, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't. I felt it. Oh my God! So just. We get so, it's almost like a doctor when somebody has a disease and an illness, we get so cold shelled about it because we just say the same lines over and over again. Once in a while, just stop in your tracks and listen to what our clients are saying because it means something to them. We hear it all the time, right? I really prefer a single level, but a 2-story is okay. I really prefer a pool, but not a pool is okay. I prefer a 3-car garage, but a 2-garage is okay. And we just get turned off by it. But when they're saying it, it means something. So sometimes just take that extra step and breathe a little bit and realize that maybe they don't know and they really do need some more of our guidance. So it was kind of funny. On a side note, I made this referral to a RE/MAX agent that never called my son back. So this is when my son bought a house, and this RE/MAX agent never called my son back ever. So he went to another agency, and that's who we're working with.
Good for him.
It's sad to say it, but we're working with another agency because they treated my son well, and they liked him, and she liked, so. Call back, people.
NAR statistic, and I'm not plugging e-broker match, you guys all know how to handle your own referrals. NAR statistics say that 70% of all broker-to-broker referrals never close with the first broker. Which means that usually you don't know who you're dealing with on the other side, or you just lose contact.
Yeah, then this guy made contact with a Remax, owner broker, and he made contact with my kid, never called him back. My kid called him a couple of times, never called him back. So
I didn't think he's a live one.
All right, so here's the last thing. I get this question a lot, and I had two calls late last night. Seller sells a house, and buyer does the inspection, and the buyer cancels based on the inspection, okay? So now the question is the seller obligated to disclose what was found on the inspection? And the answer is?
Yes.
Well, maybe, right? So here's the thing. You're required to disclose any material matters, right? A leaking water spigot probably is not a material matter, but it could be. So then the question comes in, what's considered a material matter? And I don't know there's a defined answer for that. But the seller obligated, doesn't have to give the inspection to the buyer, although not always a bad idea, but you must disclose material matters. And I don't know what the answer is, what it's considered material matter. So I would ask the question back to the seller. If you were to buy a house and knew that these things were wrong and that seller didn't tell you, would you want to know those things? And I think that's a good litmus test of what the seller should be doing. If you know what's wrong with your house, but you were to buy a house with those same things wrong, would you want to know that? You can't go wrong with disclosure, right? You just can't go wrong. And if a buyer is going to back out because of it, then you didn't need that buyer, you'll find the next buyer. So, and I think I am done. So we've talked a little bit about transaction desk or Instaforms. It's the same thing. Transaction desk is the I guess the parent company. Please understand, it is not guaranteed that Zipforms is going away. It probably will, but it's not a done deal yet. And I can't see AAR moving the whole association to transaction desk only to say, it's not going to happen. So it's probably going to happen. Transaction desk is just another paperless form. It just like Zipforms, it just has its own protocol, the way we do things. So Michelle Keckley is with AAR, and I don't know your exact title, but she is the expert on transaction desk. Is going to talk to us today, not so much the specifics on how to use it, just the general about transaction desk, and then the CE class after today's meeting is specifics on how to use transaction desk. I've been to 2 classes already. It's not that much different from Zipforms in the sense that it does pretty much everything Zipform does. It does things that it doesn't do. Zipform does other things. I'm sure there'll be tweaks, but you're going to need to go to 2 or 3 classes to fully grasp it. Okay, so go to as many classes you can. We have until December 31st. And finally, before I let you go, once Zipforms goes away in end of December, you will not have access to any of your files, correct?
Oh, that's correct.
You will not have access. So if there's anything in Zipforms that you want for a particular property, you need to get it out before December 31st. You will not have access to those files. All your files and all your paperwork should be in SkySlope, but if there's anything in Zipforms, you will not have access to that. So with that, let me introduce Michelle Keckley, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Anything like that.
Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick overview. I'm going to start out with logging in. We have 3 locations where you can log into Transaction Desk. So the first location is through the single sign-on dashboard, as you see here. So you'll see a Transaction Desk tile here at the very top. If you click on that tile, you will automatically be logged into Transaction Desk. You don't need to enter in a username or a password. We have set that up for you. So just click on that tile and it will log you in.
So we don't have a dedicated.
Second location is through a site called aarforms.com. Now for this site, you're going to use your email address, whatever email address is registered with the association, as your username. The password you will have to create. And you'll do that by clicking that forgot username / password button at the very bottom. You will enter in your email address and a link will email to you where you can create or reset your password. The third location is through your MLS. So So at the very top of the screen in the toolbar, you'll see this transaction desk button here. That will take you to the login screen for transaction desk. You'll also find the transaction desk button in menu under products at the very bottom. And you can also take a listing and push that listing into transaction desk. I'll just do a quick search here. Select any property, go to that property's details, and you're going to see a transaction desk button in the toolbar above the details. And if I click on that, it's going to push this listing into transaction desk with all the MLS information that's going to create a transaction with that property. So you'll see I clicked on that transaction desk button in MLS, and you'll see on the screen here, it pushed all the information into transaction desk and is creating a transaction for me. So now I am in the transaction desk platform. This is the agent dashboard or your home screen. You'll see these boxes on the home screen. This is what we call widgets. These widgets are customizable. So at the very top, you'll see the padlock icon. If I click on that, it's going to unlock the dashboard. I can then delete any of the widgets if they're not useful to me. I can rearrange the dashboard. I can make the boxes larger if I need to. And at the very top, you have additional widgets that you can drag down onto your dashboard. So if I want to drag down my contact icon, I can do that to create contacts. Once you're done editing your dashboard, click the padlock icon one more time, and it locks your dashboard in place. So now I'm going to click on this little hamburger icon, and this is going to open up my service window. So you'll see here the very first button is Transaction Desk. This button will take you to all of the transactions you have previously created, or it will take you to the screen where you can then create the transaction. You have Authentisign, which is the free integrated electronic signature program that is in Transaction Desk. Instanet Forms are all of your form libraries, so the AAR forms, your MLS forms. DocBox is your internal document storage system, and you have unlimited storage, so you can upload from your computer. A third-party location, any of your brokerage forms you can upload into DocBox. Task Manager here allows you to create tasks and checklists, and you can also share those tasks and checklists with members of the brokerage. Infinite Fax is an electronic fax service. If maybe your clients still use faxing, probably not. Contacts is your transaction desk contact, or address book rather. And then we have Setup. I'm going to click on Setup. Now this is where your preferences are housed. And we click Preferences at the very top. And the user information here, which is just your basic information, your email address, your phone number. And the office information. All of this information is automatically updated for you. So if you do notice that your email address is incorrect, any of the brokerage information is incorrect, you would call your local association, have them update the information on their database. Excuse me. And once that is done, they'll automatically update here in Transaction Desk.
So if you ever move, let your local association know.
Yes.
Is there a way to take your zip form files and
There is not a way to do that. Yeah.
just thinking?
Yes.
If you're creating one of the first things you covered was pulling from MLS and it would transfer the information. Does it only do that if it's an active listing, if it's closed, if it's expired, canceled?
If it's in MLS, you can, it doesn't matter if it's closed
Regardless
or
of the
open,
status.
as long as it's there, you can push it into the transaction desk.
just piggybacking off that, so if you do that on an old listing, you're relisting it again, can you go from transaction desk to say create listing, inputs the amount?
No, you can't do it the opposite way. Yeah, you can just pull it from the
IT.
If you need to add a new contact in there, can you pull it from your Gmail contacts or other contacts and download
Absolutely.
directly into there? That would
Yep.
make it a lot easier.
You can, absolutely.
Sweet.
Now you can create your email signature, and this will just go out with all of the emails sending from transaction desk. We have branding, which I think is pretty cool. The first option is you can add your company banner to your email. So any email sent from transaction desk, whether it's just a typed out email, maybe sending documents, your signing invitation, your banner will be placed at the very top of that email. You can also upload your personal headshot, which will be placed at the very bottom of that email. And you can upload your company logo. And then if you ever need to reset your password, you can do that in preferences as well.
If you reset it here, will it automatically update in the one-time sign-on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And back into setup. In setup, this is where you would create your clauses. This is your clauses and your transaction templates. So it is a little bit hidden in that setup section. If I click on clauses, you see that you can create personal clauses. There can be office clauses, but you would have to have the brokerage update to do office clauses. And the system clauses would be anything that AAR creates or transaction desk creates, and it would be available to all membership.
So just a word about office clauses. I've been working on this already for about a month or so. All the different clauses that I think are pretty cool that you guys use when I review contracts, I've been putting them in this office clause, so it will be available. I would always recommend that you use the additional clause addendum first. But if you're going to do things like, termites are found in the property, sales, it'll all be in those things, and some really good ones that you guys have come up with. So I've got a whole library full of these.
We can start using this now, rather than wait for zip forms to go away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, you can.
May as well.
Well, and here's the thing, so I'm sorry, Michelle, but just remember, if you're using it now, it'll be available to you after January 1st. If you're gonna do a new transaction starting today, or October or November, and you're using zip forms won't be available to you January 1st.
Right.
So at some point, you want to start transitioning over.
Yeah, so we can just transition over it anyway.
Yeah.
But you said it might not go away.
Yeah, when will we know for sure?
Yeah.
This is better anyway.
Joe's like, I
I'm
wonder.
not sure when we'll know. We have given Zipform the option to license our forms, so it is possible that it won't go away. I don't believe that NAR is going to continue it as a member benefit after 2019, so it's kind of up in the air right now. They may sign the contract to license our forms, they may not. We don't really have an answer right now, but if it does stay,
And
Well,
here's
that
the
would be
interesting thing,
part
just
of the-
as a
yeah.
side thing, the only reason this is happening is not because Zip Forms is not a good product. Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. It is
Right.
strictly based on customer service, period, end of story.
yes,
All
you're
right?
correct.
It has nothing to do with the product. The product is an excellent product. But the customer service from Zip Forms to us as agents, to us as a brokerage, to them as their association that represents 60,000 plus people, the customer service is horrible.
Right, and give them an example.
So when we have our own, you go to forms, you've got harmless forms, you've got AAR forms, and we have our own wide variety of forms, so RMFP. So we have our own disclosures in that. Anytime we make a change, we have to do affiliate business disclosure because we've added or taken away one of our business partners. It costs us $250 to make that one change, and it's at least 6 to 8 weeks before that change is made.
So
now
it's
that-
not the money, it's the 6 to 8 weeks, because that's eternity for us.
Yeah, because in that 8 weeks, it changes again. Now think about AAR, which we all belong to, and they changed one purchase contract, right? One purchase contract is 11 pages. They got to change the whole thing.
Wow.
It's per page. It's, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a hassle.
customer service, and it's the only reason why it's changing.
What about DocBox versus Dropbox?
Same thing, but different?
Yes, yes, you can upload documents from your Dropbox into Dropbox. So it's just labeled Dropbox as the internal storage system for third-party documents.
That was technical.
Yes.
But you wanna do it, I mean.
Zip forms, like,
Totally different.
multiple buyers, more than two.
Will yours have a system for entering more than?
Like for those purchase contracts, we still have the two locations of the buyer, and we don't have additional locations to replace the buyer. So what we've always been used to do is to see an addendum, or just the documents, they will see addendum with the additional buyer. So right now, we
Or like in the trust loan, to go in one.
You have to see manually doing it with all your documents.
And is Authentic Sign gonna be able to connect to DocuSign or no?
Not with DocuSign, you can upload third-party documents into AuthentiSign or your documents from DocuSign and upload them into AuthentiSign. So that's not a problem, but they're not just saying Yeah. Going back into setup here, I will click on the transaction templates. So to create a template, you would just click the add button at the very top here. You would name the template, select the type, save, and then you can add your documents, you can add checklists to templates. You can upload documents and folders from your computer or a third-party location, add your forms, and we have a sharing option where you can share your templates with other members of your brokerage.
Okay, can you click on add forms? I just want to see what comes up. So does it, when you put in residential, does it automatically populate into that sector? And so you don't, it filters, so to speak?
Yes, so I would select the library, start typing in residential into that search bar, and all the forms that have the word residential in the form title will pop up. Is that what you were referring to?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So you see all those residential forms popped up for me.
I can read it, man.
And I'll just click this back arrow to get all of the forms to display again.
It'd be that big in the office. We can get you a big screen.
Go back to
You
my
can put it on the wall.
And I real quick want to show you the sharing option here. So you can create sharing groups. We click add at the very top here. You can name your group. And all of the members in your brokerage will display over to the left-hand side here. You can select an individual and place them in one of the three boxes you see on the screen. So there's read-only privilege, write privilege, and full privilege. So read, they don't have access to edit the forms. Write, they have access to fill in the forms. And then full privileges give them the same privilege that you would have. You can delete, you can add forms, you can write, you can email. Anything that you can do, that individual can do as well. So I selected one of the members of my brokerage. Click the arrow to add them to that particular box. You can add as many members as you'd like. You can add your entire brokerage to this list or this group. You would click save or update at the very top here. And then if you want to share a document, you want to share a transaction, a template, there are sharing buttons on each screen where you can share with whatever group you want to choose. Any questions about anything in the setup window here? I'm going to click on support. So Transaction does offer 24/7, 365 days a year support. There's 3 ways to contact them. You have this 800 number at the very top here. You have the email address tdsupport@lwolf.com. And then we have live support, which is a chat function. So the 800 number and the live support or the chat feature, this is for emergencies. If you have a question that you need answered right away, there's an issue with your account, you would either do live support or call the 800 number. tdsupport@lwolf.com is for non-emergencies. If you don't mind waiting a couple hours for the response, go ahead and email them, otherwise call or use chat. We also have online training, which is the location where you would register for webinars. You can send feedback on the product if you have suggestions. If you think that there's a little glitch in the program, you can send feedback. There are guides, and these are downloadable or printable PDFs, and there are 92 guides on how to do basically anything in the system. So you'll see working with transactions, there's a PDF for creating a transaction, editing, viewing the progress of the transaction.
Yes.
That's the support here. And then we have help videos. We have over 100 help videos that are under 5 minutes each. And pre-recorded webinar videos, which are about an hour long each video. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? Anything you want me to go over specifically? Yes.
In that, sorry, in that sharing function, are you able to see who made those changes? Is there going to be a log of changes?
There are, yes, absolutely. So you will be able to see when someone opened up a transaction, what they filled out, if they added forms, deleted forms. And of course, since it's your account, if someone fills something out on those forms, you can always go back and delete it. You have full access to all of the changes, the forms, all the rights. So in the beginning, I showed you how you can push MLS information from MLS into Transaction Desk to create a transaction. You can also pull the information from MLS. So you'll see when you click Create Transaction, you can fill in the name, you can add a template, select the type, and then we have Import Data. So all you would do is click Import Data, select the MLS, type in the MLS ID, and it will pull the information into that transaction. You don't have to worry about any kind of REX password like you did in zip form. That's all set up for you.
On the templates, maybe Sandy, are we gonna have like our office templates like we do in zip forms, like the?
But you'll make your own template, because on your template, you'll be able to put Melissa Gasper,
Oh,
and,
okay.
you know, and all your information in Next Line Property. Each one will have its own individual one, because your contracts are individually to you. And then the clauses, you can pick and choose for your own templates, or there'll be a company directory, if you will.
I think she was the affiliate disclosure, the revamp fund
Yeah.
properties disclosure.
So this is the question of the day. So if you notice, when it came to forms, you had armless forms and you had AAR forms. Right now, the way zip forms is, we have an RMFP library. We're working on that. When I say we, meaning it's not available yet, and that's a big thing that AAR is taking down. So there'll be, in some manner, there'll be those forms available, yes.
So in that instance, then are we able to add to templates exterior forms like we are currently with zip forms?
That's a Michelle question.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So upload like third-party documents from your computer or, yes.
We can
Yeah.
download those forms from zip forms and then upload them into your
Right.
doc.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out how we make our own RMFP library with all our own in-house students.
And those forms are still available on our intranet. So you just have to log in there and the forms are there. So we keep that updated pretty regularly. I know there's a couple of really old forms in there that we still kind of linger around, but we really don't use. So before this actually kicks off, we'll go through there and do a complete overhaul and make sure all the forms are there.
So the other thing is, how many use eSign right now from eSign from zip form, from zip forms using eSign? So that's gonna go away, right? So this program has AuthentiSign, same concept. How many have DocuSign? So you're paying about $240 a year, which you don't have to pay.
128.
Whatever, but you don't have to pay that because you're gonna get it free with AuthentiSign, and you also have it free with DigiSign through SkySlip. Now, each one does something a little bit different, but if you don't wanna pay that $240 or
128.
120.
127.56 if you want to go right there.
But just know it's available to you for free. And there are a little bit of differences with each one. Here's the single biggest difference. On DocuSign, and I'm not sure how to AuthentiSign, you tell me this. So you can pre-program, in other words, when you're asking a buyer to sign, it knows exactly where to take the next line to for initials, right? With DigiSign, it doesn't do that. You have to manually move the initials to each box. Now, I like that, and I'll tell you why. I love it. But when you guys work with buyers, they're initialing lines 181, 182, which is lead-based paint. It's either before 78 or it's after 78. You can't initial both because it's not both.
Right.
And I know why it happens because that's how DocuSign works. And I'm okay with that so long as on the left-hand side you're checking one of the boxes. If you check one box but they initial both, no big deal. But that's kind of one of the big differences where you have to do it manually with DigiSign. With AuthentiSign, it automatically takes you to where you, unless, and the only way to undo that is your buyer signs it, you set it up with AuthentiSign, you set it up, then you have to go back into the contract, go back to line 181, 182, and eliminate one of those, so there's an extra step. I don't make a big deal of it as long as the proper box is checked.
But Sandy, on the DocuSign, before you send it, you just go and delete those boxes.
Yeah, because that's an extra step, you have to go back into it, yeah. No big deal, no one does it, and I'm okay with that, I mean, I'm not.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to click on AuthentiSign, just to give you a quick overview of this electronic signature program. So if you do want to create a new AuthentiSign session, you would just click the Add button at the very top, and this creates a new session. Let's see here. I'm going to go into one that has been completed. Actually, I'll go into the progress one here. So this is a session that is still in progress. So if you have sent out an AuthentiSign session and maybe you forgot to add a signer or a document, or you need to make any kind of changes, you can do that after it has been sent out, as long as it has not been signed and completed. So if you do need to edit an AuthentiSign session, you would click this reset button at the very top here. It'll bring you back into the AuthentiSign wizard, is what it's called. It'll allow you to make any edits, additions. Maybe after you sent the AuthentiSign out, you need to change the email address. Maybe you send it to your client's home address and they want it sent to their work email address. You do have this edit button here, and you can change the email address. If you do make an edit to the email address, you would have to click the resend button at the very top here. This is the envelope icon. You can also add a CC recipient, and they will receive the final signed document, and you can copy the session. You also have a history, just like you do in the AARP sign program. So it gives you a breakdown of everything that has taken place in the AuthentiSign session, with time and date stamps and details over to the right-hand side. Okay, I have about 5 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions for me? Any concerns, maybe if you run into any glitches in Transaction Desk?
Is there any significant difference between this and ZipForms?
Not really. It's very similar. I mean, it's a different program, so we've had a lot of feedback that people love it, some people hate it because it's different, it's not what they're used to, but I don't see a big difference between ZipForm and Transaction Desk, so it should be a very easy learning curve with this new program. You have a question?
Yes, will our clients be able to access the forms like DocuSign, they can create a login? Will our clients be able to have that and go back to the forms that they just signed?
Yep, they can. So after the signing process, there is a screen that will pop up for your clients where they can create a username and a password, and they can log in and access those forms. They'll also receive an email of the final signed documents as well.
And it's similar to DigiSign where you can see who signed, who hasn't signed, resend it to them, change the envelope.
You can, absolutely.
Now, as far as the order, is it still where the first party, the second party cannot sign until the first party?
You have a choice. So you can set it up where it sends to one signer at a time in order, or you can send it to all your signers at once, and then they can go in and sign whenever they like. So if the first signer hasn't signed, the second signer can still sign.
So if you have two signers with the same email address, it still sends two emails?
Two emails, yes.
Even if you, not necessarily order for the same party.
You can set that up. Any other questions? Yes.
Well, is it 100% sure that this program is here to stay, not that we switch now and then 8 months from now it's like, we changed the whole
Yes, we will be keeping this program, yes.
Great. With the forms, we have the archiving options so that our cover screen doesn't get all jumbled up.
Yes.
Does this program still have that archive, and if so, how long does it hold the forms for?
It does, yes. We do have archive, and the forms will not go away at all. It's permanent. Yes.
To piggyback on her comment, I don't quite understand, so if we start using this and you decide to keep the forms, we can still continue with this one, we don't have to go back to zip forms?
You can. So we just want to give you the option. Options are great. If we can have zip form and transaction desk, you can just use what you prefer.
So talk about the desktop version. It's kind of important, right? There's the online version, there's a desktop version.
For zip form, correct?
The zip forms, desktop version does not exist anymore, right? And the reason is because every time you change a form, it changes on the online version, but not in the desktop form. Now, will there be a desktop version of this, or?
There is not a desktop version, no.
Which means, okay, so if you're in an open house in some remote area and somebody wants to write an offer or do something, you won't have, and you're not online, you won't have access to the forms. Where if it was on the desktop version, you would have access.
Right.
Can you do it from
There's a
your phone,
difference.
on a mobile?
You can, yes. So you have, you can go to the mobile site. If it's an Android device or an Android tablet, you can go to the aarforms.com to log into Transaction Desk. If you have an Apple product, there's an app you can download, and you can access transactions from that app.
And to finish up the 5 minutes, if you keep zip forms and this, then how much, like, are our dues gonna go up, or like, what are we paying for it?
No, your dues will not change, not at all.
I'm sorry, do you know what app that is?
It is called Transaction Desk, so you just go to the place where I look for Transaction Desk. Zip form will retain the files for you, so you won't be able to just go into Zip form and download those files after it goes away in December. But you can call Zip form if you. Oh, yes, yes. No, it will not delete.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Great. Well, that concludes. Yeah, sorry.
So with the, whatever the authentic this is called, so like DocuSign right now, if I create it, I could sign it right now with my client. So will it give that option, or is the only option to send it? You can do it in
Good question.
person?
You can do it in person.
Okay.
So you can have the authentic sign invitation sent to your clients as an email. They can sign on your device. Or there's reviewers. If you don't want them to sign at all, you just want them to review the documents, you can do that as well. Any other questions?
Anyone else? All right, well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today. Any questions?
One more thing. So sometime in June, a new form is coming out. It's not going to be a big announcement. It's just going to show up, and it's called the notification form, right? Because a lot of times in our contract it says buyer to notify seller this or seller to notify that, and no one ever knows how to notify. Everybody does it on an addendum, which is not the right way to do it, because an addendum is an agreement between buyer and seller. A notification is just that. So it's just a notification, and it can't be any simpler. It's going to basically say buyer, seller, the address. This form is to notify you that, and then you're going to fill in the blank. It's just that simple. So now there's a form. It's called the notification form, just to notify you that whatever you notify. And that should come out sometime in June. So it's just going to show up. It's not a major change in our in our library, it's just gonna show up, so. Okay, that's,
All right, before we introduce our wonderful vendors that we have around and our sponsors that do this every time, we have a couple of special things that were going on. Usually when we have people here, we want to say thank you. And Eric Nyquist.
Eric.
Congratulations. Eric's been with us for 5 years now.
All right.
I remember when Eric first came on, one of the deals that he made was to go on a Bronco weekend with Dell, David, and myself. So
Thank you.
We had a great weekend. It was a lot of fun in golf. But what happens in Denver stays in Denver. Remember that? Because I do have black metal material. So I can just stick it right here.
Congratulations, Eric.
Thank you. And this next one is.
By the way, I was going to the game anyway.
We were going to the game. So, and a concert. So, this next one is something that we're really very proud of. Shoukat, are you going to stand up?
Hey, Shoukat.
Shoukat, congratulations. You've made the Hall of Fame.
Capitalize on that just real quick. So in business planning, Chris Usher and I made a for sale by owner call. Sam, you were there. Who was at that meeting when I, okay, all right. We made a for sale by owner call. How long does it take to convert? So this is just a little bit of my portion, Greg, so I'm not stealing anything.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
How long does it take to convert it for sale by owner? 6 weeks, right? Chris and I stayed with it, you know, gave them information, you know, coached them, you know, come on, you can do this. Here's open house signs, right? We were just helping them, which is part of our business planning. Put it on the market 6 weeks later, priced it, and Shoukat sold it. So we're currently in escrow. It's the inspection, appraisal, all that kind of stuff we're going through, right? But Shoukat now has since sold it. And so good job, you know, being right here in Greyhawk. But it was a lead that was incubated at business planning, a for sale by owner, that Chris Usher and I converted, and Shoukat sold it. So now we just got to get it. We're finished.
Get it through. So, our wonderful marketing partners, I know you hear me say this every single month, but they really are. Otherwise, we would not have them in here. If we did not trust the people that are around our perimeter, they would not be here. We talk to them almost on a daily basis. If you ever have any questions or if there's any issues, please bring it to us. We want to know. We always want to continue to get better, and they help us do that as well. So, Julie, do you want to stand up and give us a little bit?
Julie LaRosa with Stewart Title.
That's it?
Are we allowed to say more this time? Okay, I have a LinkedIn class coming up. I've got a CE disclosure class coming up. And really important, if any of you would like to participate in a Buffini training program, he has a whole new program. We're putting a class together now, so reach out if you're interested in that. Thank you.
Pressure.
Sharon.
Good morning, everyone. Sharon Wolf-Furman with AJF Inspections and Engineering, and today I brought along
Holly Jennings with AJF. That's obviously. So good to be here. I never get to come very often, so nice to see you all.
Great to see all of you. We love you. Thank you. Call us, question us.
Good morning, everybody. Mary with Fidelity National Home Warranty. One strong suggestion, if there are issues with the HVA system before close of escrow, there are some repairs going to be made, you should probably use a licensed contractor and not the brother-in-law or the next door neighbor. They probably don't have liability insurance, and if something goes wrong, they probably won't come back and make it right, but strongly suggest using a licensed contractor. Thanks.
Amen.
Good morning, everybody. Jill Wright, saw the title.
Allie Flax. So you probably saw my invite. I'm doing a Troon home tour. I've got 11 homes on tour Thursday morning, ranging from $1 million to 2.5 million. So if you're interested in joining us, please join us.
We also have a YouTube and video class coming up tomorrow. I know it's short notice. We've been promoting it a little bit online, but it is open to everyone. It's in Mid-Scottsdale, and it's from 1 to 3, correct? 1 to 3 tomorrow. So if you guys have been really wanting to get into the basics of video, doing YouTube, what that entails, feel free to get more information from us, and we'll get that to you.
Thanks. Jacqueline.
Hi everybody, Jacqueline Payne with CNN Mortgage.
We are going to be putting on, it's for our CRM, Total Expert, we're going to be putting on a class after one of your business development classes that Dell does, so check that out. It'll be coming next month.
Deanne Martin with Agency and Realty Media. I'm really excited because we're doing commercials now for you guys. So we just did one for Darren Tackett. I'm going to throw it on Facebook. You have to see it. You have to do it. I got on social media within the last 8 months and it has blown my business apart. So up. So it's been really successful for me. It will be successful for you if you guys just get in there, do social media, do video. It's here. It's now. So give us a try.
Thank you. Rebecca.
Awesome. Hi, Rebecca Niesing, Allstate Insurance, with Liz out of my Carefree office. I just hired my perfect customer service person that has 10 years Allstate experience. So now, between the two offices, I've got 8 full-time agents that are all licensed. They're all amazing. We're here to answer any insurance questions that you guys have, whether it's rentals, flood insurance, life insurance, anything. Let us be your resource. Thanks.
Thanks. Fidelity.
Troy Peterson, Fidelity National Title, shout out again. And Easing Media went on our website the other day, checking some things out. Really good stuff. We have the class this afternoon. Thanks, Ben, Vice Chairs, for joining us. Just stay. You don't have to have signed up. 2:30 we'll start right away till 1:30. It is CE credit as well as all the stuff on transaction desk, which helped us understand. So feel free to stay, and we'll provide that class for you.
Ben.
Ben Tobias, Fairway Mortgage, starting to see some new niche products roll out. For those that aren't aware, bank statement products are getting more and more popular for self-employed borrowers. If you have anybody that's having trouble qualifying when they're self-employed, 12 months, 24 months, bank statement products are working really well right now, and they're starting to loosen up their guidelines. So we're starting to see some different things out there. Feel free to try us out for a second opinion. If your clients are just looking to shop rates, and obviously we love a shot at your business. So thanks.
Dennis and Bev.
Hi, Dennis Knob, the owner, Horizon Inspection Services. This is Bev, does our marketing for us. Hey, it's wonderful. I started in November with all of you, and I can look down the row and I know one or two. I've worked with one or two of them every row, so it's amazing. You're wonderful, and it really is kind of a special group. I mean, obviously, I've been around a lot of different groups, and this you guys are special. You guys are good at what you do. So thank you. I saw something interesting, so I'm just going to tell you, this is the 5 most common excuses that inspectors give when they call their insurance company with a problem. These are excuses. I'm only going to tell you 2 of them, okay? Here's the first one. This is what the inspector says to the insurance company. The client was at the inspection, and we discussed the problem, but I didn't write it in the report. Okay, so here's the deal. It's not written in the report, and you don't have a picture of it, it doesn't count. It's as simple as that. You missed it. So that's the reality in the inspection rule. Here's the top reason, the number one excuse. I was doing the inspection for a friend, and I didn't worry about what? Getting a signed contract. Right? Yeah. You see that coming. Didn't get the contract signed. So anyway, that's the world we live in. So thank you guys. It's wonderful meeting you. Hopefully more of you can give me a call.
Tara.
Hi, Tara Carter, Old Republic Home Warranty. Number 1, summer's here, even though it doesn't feel like it outside. It's coming. It's going to be a good warm summer, I think. So you're most likely going to need me sometime this summer. So if you do not have my cell phone number in your phone, please stop by and pick up my card. Make sure you have my cell phone number. I work like you do, so call me anytime. I'm always here to help. And the second thing, everybody, those of you who served in the armed forces, thank you very, very much for your service. And this coming weekend, let's not forget to remember our fallen soldiers. So thank you for being here.
Jen, you had something to say?
I did, thank you. I didn't have to skip the answer.
Well, it was actually, your counterpart skipped you.
Jen Miller, Fidelity Title also, out of the Pinnacle Peak office. I just want to mention to you guys that we started, Rob, Troy and I started a Facebook group. It's a closed group meant for agents called Luxury Agents of PD in Scottsdale. It's a place for you guys to share new coming soon listings or buyer needs or anything. We just ask that you try to keep it for $1 million plus and within those areas, or broker opens, anything you want. We're putting content in there as well, but we're so excited to have agents sharing in there because we don't want it to be all of us. So please check it out. You can request to join. They'll just ask you 3 questions, and then
may or may not approve.
All right, a couple of things before I give it back to Dell. On your agenda, it does say Keith Sheffer for Max Center. We have Keith teaching this class the last Tuesday of every single month. Unfortunately, we had some really good content today, so we kind of got bumped. We apologize to Keith for that, but he's doing that the last Tuesday of every single month. Also, next week is Spirit Week. So we are asking for donations. It's $1 a day if you want to participate. Those funds right there will go automatically. We'll send those to Phoenix Children's Hospital. So if you want more information, please stop by the front desk and talk to Jennifer or Shanae, and they'll be glad to fill you in. It's all yours.
Business planning this Thursday. It'll be at Stewart Title. The subject matter will be open houses. So I'm going to start giving the subject matter prior to business development, but I will still have an open mic of anybody that came to business development that needs some immediate feedback. And then Julie, you had a suggestion that it was getting kind of like, ooh, same subject matters, because I'm all about lead generation, right? So tell us what else we're going to do this Thursday. We're going to break out some other things.
Still some lead generation topics, but maybe a little bit different than VISBA. So
Yeah, but hang on, Fidelity brings the digital aspect, right?
We've got digital, we've got print marketing, open houses, a lot of different lead generating ideas. So we'll just take what Dell works on and we're going to expand it a little bit.
Yeah, not including the rental section of it on the agency. It's a fascinating subject. I made one call in business planning and ended up with the property management account. One call. I made one call and got a property management account. So there's a lot of different variations of lead generation. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it is all about lead generation. I know there's a lot of different ways to do it. We're going to start sharing that with you. The digital aspect, I heard this really strong on this side of the room today. There is a lot of ways that you can meet a lot of people fast by throwing that out in Facebook and LinkedIn and Snapchat and what's the other one? A lot of stuff. So you guys, you have to fire on all of that, but I'm really proud of you guys. Our numbers are the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where's Matthew? Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, he's still on vacation. We'll be back.
I believe we're at the same point as where we were last year at this time from a number standpoint. Is that right?
On sales volume?
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, when they said that 2019 was going to mirror 2018, whatever economist said that, spot on. And I was thankful when I heard that. So we should all be thankful in this room. It's a good market and a good year, and people are out there buying. The economy's good. We're growing again. It's fascinating stuff out there. Mayo doctors all over the place. Mayo's campus is going nuts in 85050. So anyway, get out there and work it. There's a lot to be had. I'll see you guys at Business Plan.
Camp Advantage tomorrow, 9:30. If you've never been there, I challenge you to come. I promise you'll walk out saying, I can't believe I haven't come to this class ever. I promise. I promise.
Yeah, they're good.
9:30 tomorrow.